What's up, guys? Pittsburgh Weiss back again. It's me, Carmen. I am joined by Andy and Brandon, both of which you have met before.
What's up, guys?
And because we don't monetize our videos, we're going to make a Yuragi Yuuna deck tech. This is a deck that I've been playing a good bit after I picked it up in Japan. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty fun and has a unique strategy. It has a lot of act synergies, so if you like decks like that, this is something you might want to look into. Reasonably priced, and it's a pretty cool deck, as well as being very lewd and very funny.
I haven't seen the show, but is the lewdness on par with the show?
Yeah, it's like 2 Lover, like very similar to TLR in levels of lewdness.
But no blurred, no like light flashes or anything though.
Depends on if you pick up the uncensored version or not. And with that, we'll get into the cards.
You're gonna have to watch that.
All right, so first card here, we got the best card in the set. The best card in the set. This is the best card, bar none. Is this Saigiri Clean Cut. If you have 5 or more cards in hand, it's a 3/5 cross turn, and then it's got a clean cut for every character. The traits don't matter. It's just a character. You run 4 of it. It's broken. We don't even run like a lot of blue in this deck at all at higher levels. We just run this because it's broken card.
Imagine if Kirito Clean Cut was cross turn.
Yeah, like
Jeez.
this card is like unironically one of the strongest +0 profiles ever. And when this card was in reveals, people were so hype about the set because of this card. Turns out this was just like one of the only good cards in the set. Like from a JP meta standpoint. I'm sure you'll see some cards if you're like an English focused player say, "Oh, that doesn't seem that bad," but I'm like in a JP format, deck is kind of underwhelming. But yeah, this card unironically broken, 4 of it. Great card. Cute character. We like big titty ninjas. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. All right, next card.
Yeah, moving on. All right, so we got Yaya. We got the cat girl. When it attacks, so it's a Shimakai, it gives 500 times your number of characters on field to another character, so it can give 2k somewhere. It's good for edging out lanes at 0. Saigiri isn't big enough. And then it also has pay 1, send this card to memory. You choose our finisher and add it to hand. Our finisher is reliant on number of colors in memory. So that's really important. Because of that, we need to make sure we have green in there, even though we do play some green cards at higher levels, but this is mainly there to facilitate our endgame memory requirement and help us get over some lanes in the mid game, because we also run an on-verse combo. But pretty, also is 2k, so pretty respectable card across the board.
I could see this having some really nice synergy with the clean cut. Just like crashing this into a lane to pump the clean cut big enough so that it can get the reverse and then save this.
Yeah. It has a lot of good
often?
utility at 0. And at 1, because we need to get reverse, and our combo's kind of small. So, alright, moving on. Oh, only 3 of it, just because we need to fit a lot of cards. This is our brainstormer for the deck. I can't remember the lolly's name. She's
Brandon, what's her name?
She's not lewd enough to have a name.
Well, not on this card. But she's the innkeeper. So she has this wonky first effect. She's a rest 1 salvage brainstormer. When you play her, you can have your opponent scry the top card of their deck, and then if they did that, or if you made your opponent do that, they can't refuse it. At the end of the turn, you get to choose a card in their waiting room, put it into their library. They shuffle their library. So if they're a deck that's reliant on like salvaging their level 1 combo, like salvage rickies and stuff, that can screw it over. It's really dependent on matchup and like deck state, whether this effect is really good or completely useless. But you can deny it if you don't want to have your opponent scry their deck. But sometimes it's pretty good if your opponent is obviously trying to salvage something or set up for a good level 1, and they're going to like play another salvage Ricky in next turn or something like that, or they're a set that relies on a salvage Ricky, you can remove targets from grave. But yeah, either really good or really bad.
You can remove anything from the grave too, if they're like...
Yeah, it could be an event
in their graveyard, like a mobility gear or a warehouse or something.
Yeah, you can get rid of grave event targets.
You can nail those back.
But yeah, very matchup dependent on whether.
Yeah, I bet it'd be a lot better on the first deck when you're.
Yeah,
when
they're trying to set
cancel
up
your attacks anyway. You don't want to give them a free cancel.
But yeah, self-rest salvage. It's in red, which is like our main top end color. So slots right into the deck. Only 3. Because
pretty good.
We gotta jam a lot of cards in the deck. So All right, moving on. We got this. So this is a box topper promo. This Chisaki Sexy Teacher, I believe is the name of the card.
I like this character. What ghost is she?
Chisaki, she's not a ghost. She's just a schoolgirl.
Andy.
Wow.
So she's
I
top check
haven't seen
filter.
the show. I thought everyone was ghosts. I thought
No,
that was-
only Yuna's a
Wasn't
ghost.
either.
So on play, she's a top check filter, and then when her damage is canceled, she goes to stock. We have a bit of a stock crunch at the end game. Our combos like on attack pay 2, so this can help us sack some extra stock and filter our hand if we flooded. We have like extra backups or things like that we need to get rid of. Just a solid card all around. It's a good yellow fix because the other yellow cards are either like underwhelming, too sacky. There's like a weird on attack like drop search or weird profile, I believe, that some people like, but I think this card is just a lot more solid. Top check filter and sacking stock sounds a lot better to me, just in the way the deck runs. So this is our yellow fix. Pretty simple
I
card.
can dig it. It's kind of like that the Aqua that you play in Konosuba.
Yeah, just a lot less guaranteed.
I actually really like this card. I like how the damage is canceled, just free stock because.
Yeah, if you get to sack the free stock, it's good because it removes itself from the field too. So it can quote unquote deny reverse. But then you're super
And,
sacky.
it's always just a draw. It's always just a filter, no matter what, too. So
The
good at any point
baseline
in
of the
game.
card is really good. So
It's not worth keeping on the board because you tell me a 1K stop anyone from killing it.
yeah, it's just whatever. But yeah, solid card, good yellow fix.
That's when you play your 2-soul and you smash them in the face.
Next card. So we got this Obro. This is a drop searcher, but it also has the ability when it becomes reversed, as long as there are 2 or fewer cards in your memory, you can send this to your memory. So this is our blue memory card. We've seen the green and the blue memory cards. Yeah, what we got so far.
You lied to me. This isn't a schoolgirl.
Well, no, this is a different character. This is she's some sort of ethereal ninja. I don't believe she's actually a ghost.
Was it ethereal, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah,
dude.
You said ethereal?
Ethereal. I don't know, dude. She's like some weird ninja character. Doesn't matter. It's a drop search. She just wants to fuck the main character and make babies. That's her character trait.
Well,
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, easy.
Is the main character in this deck?
No.
Do we get okay, good.
Yeah.
We don't want the ugly bastard.
I like it like as a self-insert, you know?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
I'm the main character.
But yeah, this is our blue memory card. So why it's in the deck, and it's drop searcher, which is why we run 3 of it. Just lets us run 3 drop searchers. Helps keep the deck consistent because we're not running the salvage Ricky because it kind of like clouds our colors. There's not a lot of space. So
Yeah, I think you've only played me with this deck once, but I'm pretty sure the finishers like you need like so many colors in your memory.
yeah, it counts off colors in memory.
Yeah.
So. All right, moving on. Got our last level 0 card. So this is this back row Yuuna. This card's a little wonky. So at the beginning of the climax phase, if this card's rested, it goes to your memory and then comes back. So it time machines as long as it's rested at the beginning of your climax phase. It has act ability rest this card. Choose 2 of your characters, and they get 500 power for the turn. So it gives Spot 500 power in 2 lanes. You can't choose the same character twice, so it has to be choose 2. But what this does is lets you modulate your damage. It's a way to let you modulate your burn damage. So if burning for 2 is better based on your opponent's deck state, you don't rest this. If it is, you can then burn for 3. So it lets you choose whether you want to burn for 2 or 3 at endgame. So that's why we run it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it just lets us modulate our damage.
That's really good.
The fact that it leaves the stage kind of sucks for some of our other abilities, so knowing when to use it and when to hold back and use your brainstorm for act on your turn.
Oh, it's a mandatory effect, isn't it?
Yeah, it has to go to memory and come back. So just something to be aware of as we look at some of our other cards. But yeah, that rounds out our level 0. Moving into level 1, this is our level 1 combo, this Chisaki. So when you use an act ability, it gets a level and 1,000 power, so it'll sit at level 2, 5,500. Vanilla stats, but level 2. And then climax combo with a wind, when the 1k1 wind. On reverse, look at 2, and then you add up to 2 characters from among them. So it can plus 2 on reverse, but it's very small. It does get that level though, so if you're playing into a meta with a lot of bombs, this combo becomes a lot better. Or red
He
ones
sets
only.
off a wind too, right?
Yeah, wind.
That's really nice. I like that the look at 2 cards. It just takes any number of characters. I know I played around with the Daya in Love Live Sunshine that adds level 1 or higher cards. It's
Yeah,
really
this just
annoying
adds
It's really
anything.
annoying when you hit like level 0 characters.
But this just adds anything, but it's very small. The upside to this card is that because it acts on your opponent's turn, you can get nasty with backups. And start denying lanes that way. Because it'll pop up to like 7-5, which is enough in JP to deny some things.
I mean, hey, even on your turn too, you use the last card,
Yeah, you
the
can
red
make
one
it
you
sit
just
at
did
7.
last. Yeah. And the other one pumps 2 copies of it too. 'Cause it
Yeah.
pumps 2 characters by 500, so.
But yeah, little small, but best level 1 plusing combo in the set. So we run it. Also has really lewd art. Very funny.
I love her facial reaction.
Yep. Alright, so moving on to this Nonko. So this card's pretty meme. So we do run green in the list. I know green is pretty contentious color for Yuuna. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it adds like a lot of spice to the deck, and some of these profiles are really good. So this Nonko, this card is either super good or super terrible, depending on how much of a sack you are and depending on your deck state. So on play, what this card does, you put up to 2 cards from the top of your deck under this as a marker. If you look at a card, you have to put it under it. You cannot deny it.
You actually don't get a. Oh, they go face up as markers, so you do.
Yeah, face up. So you do get to know. If you look at a card, you have to put it under. You can't just deny them. You can stop, but they go directly from the top of your deck after you see it under this card. So if you reveal a climax or you reveal an event, you don't gain power, and it's stuck under this card. However, if you hit 2 characters or your deck is completely out of climaxes, this card is a 107k that compresses 2 and has a drawback that doesn't matter for the deck because you just like slam cards on the field in this deck because you +2 of your climax combo. So because of the way the level 1 climax combo works, at level 2, when you need to get through your deck, this is just like a mill 2 compress 2. Markers can be really strong when used effectively, and I think it adds a lot of spice to the deck. It lets you get like super compressed out of nowhere. Hitting green is really hard at level 1, so we really only play this at level 2. But the fact that this can just like maybe if we kind of got hit early or like we're out of climaxes because we sack canceled early, we can just like become an unkillable monster with crazy marker compression. So really, really spicy card, and also fixes us for green.
You do have some top check effects too, like I think some of the level 0s let you like look at the top card. So if you fail your top check on your,
they're all top check filter, so you have to draw.
Yeah, so like if you fail your filter, like if you flip a climax, you can know not to play this card.
Yeah, you can know to brainstorm first or something like that.
You could get cheeky with your sequencing.
But yeah, as long as you're on top of your deck state when you play this card, it's very good. Or it can just help you mill. Sometimes you're in those situations. This deck has no hand problems, so like you're not gonna bleed hand by like playing over this if it like went terribly. Because sometimes that's the right play. It's just like, oh, if I like hit too clean on here, I'm like an unkillable. My deck is in an unkillable state. Sometimes you go for those plays because you're like always over hand size at the end of the turn with this deck a lot of the time, as long as you're like resolving your level 1 combo. But yeah, super spicy card. And she's drinking a beer. Good waifu. Nonko's drunk waifu. Very good.
You gotta get custom art on yours, Carmen. You need to like get someone to draw, like make strong 0.
Strong 0. It's got the big can.
Yeah.
Get someone to Photoshop your face on there with the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to have custom card? Like
yeah, you are. As long as it doesn't go over any text. I think that includes flavored text. I don't think it's specific to rules text. Don't quote me on that.
Let us know in the comments below if you'd like to see this card with Carmen's face on it.
I have
and a strong 0.
I have heard
cowboy
horror
hat.
stories of people getting their cards judge called for like English voice actor signs and stuff. So your mileage may vary. Moving on, we got this sexy 2K backup. That's it. We run 3 of it because every turn we can protect our level 1 combo and sack into wins. We're just winning even harder. And we're also an act deck at level 2 as well with our early play, so this is really important.
I really wish I was this guy right now.
Damn.
If you ever play this card against me, I'm gonna call the police. How old is this character?
She's a ghost, dude.
Hey, actually, no, don't answer. Don't answer. Just go to the next card.
She's like 1,000 years old or something. I don't know.
Who knows?
Doesn't matter.
Alright, it's just too love rude, dude. Okay, moving on to level
It's
2s.
okay if I like it, right?
We got a bunch of toolbox cards. So this is a 13/5 level 3 killer that when it becomes reversed, it goes to memory. So if you're behind and you need to kill level 3s, this is a way to like make sure that you have red in memory. It's just another. It's like the only other way to get red outside of the back row. Pretty simple card. Not going to waste too much time on it. You could that
really
could be
like
seen
the
as a
card a lot,
drawback,
yeah.
but it also is a card that like when it gets killed, it goes to memory and it just removes itself from the deck. It's not a card that you really want to play again or the once per turn, so it just removes itself from play. So pretty cool.
I like it a lot. I like the fact that it gets over a level 3 and then survives, and then puts your opponent in a weird position where they either have to like crash into it or side it,
If they don't want you to
or
get
they have
the
to give you the memory which you want.
if they don't
anyway.
want you to get red, like if you haven't been able to get the Yuuna back row and this is your only way to get red, maybe your opponent over prioritizes trying to deny this for some reason. But yeah, I just like that it removes itself from play. It just compresses itself. Just gone. But yeah, pretty simple card. Moving on, anti-change backup. It's a sack counter. This is the bad one. This is the pay 3 sack a character overall. Only sends the waiting room, but sack counter is good. Anti-change is good. Don't want to waste time on it. It's good, even if it's expensive. It might win you the game. Yeah, that's it. Don't wanna waste too much time. Moving on, much spicier card. This one of event. I only run one because there's just not enough space. This card is super silly. You choose 4 of your opponent's characters. You send them to memory. You shuffle those cards and then put them back at different places face down. This is all face down. Then turn them face up. I have more than once done this on my opponent's 4-character board and put the characters back in the exact same positions. So this card is super sick or super terrible. It's just really meme. It's super dank. It has funny art. So easy one.
Choose up to 4 characters. You don't have to choose all 4. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it could just drag one character because you choose what places they go. So you could choose one and drag it to open if killing your opponent's back row is good. But the
Or if you wanna,
ultimate
like, if
meme,
they have, I think it's the best when they probably have a full field and like you can get 2
Yeah.
back rows with it.
when you snipe both back rows, yeah. But of course, this is random. But yeah, very funny. Only one of a unique card that's only really in Yuuna. So
You know,
Very
there's
funny.
stuff that like needs to be in like the center of the field for bodyguard and stuff like that too, right?
Mhm.
There's stuff that needs to be in certain.
I
positions
was gonna get to
sometimes.
that. That's the best thing about this card against decks like Albuto. You can just fuck over Futaba. Just remove it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't work against Reinhardt though. He's a runner.
Yeah.
Got ReZero cards are broken. All right, moving on to level 3s. This is our finisher. 2 or more other characters. This gets 1,000 power. So it sits at 10/5, and it's also
Broken.
a healer. Heal finisher, super good.
Broken.
Climax combo on attack. Pay 2, ditch a card. If the gate climax, so we're playing Wind Gate, is in your climax zone, pay 2, ditch 1. This gets an additional 1,000 power, so it's going to swing in at 10, 11, 12/5 before any buffs, and then burns for the number of colors in your memory, which is either 2 or 3, depending on how you set it up. So pay 2, ditch 1, burn 2 or 3. Your choice is pretty good numbers-wise. Non-interactive burn, very good. Heal finisher, also very good. So you just get to play 4 healers. On paper, strong finisher with a manageable cost. In practice, ends up being hella awkward. Mostly because the Yaya costs stock to go to memory. Green is usually what you send because it salvages this card for you. So it becomes a little stock crunch, which is why we run the 0 sack stock. We can get even 1 extra stock in the game. We stand a good chance of being able to resolve 2 of these most games. But
Yeah, at least you can use the attacks themselves to generate the previous attack to generate the stock to pay the effect.
yeah, pay 2, ditch 1 is very manageable. The hand size, I would honestly rather it be pay 1, ditch 2 because of how good this deck is on hand most of the time. But, you know, still pretty manageable cost.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, pretty simple finisher. We'll move on to a much more interesting card. This is our early play. This Chisaki, so she's a 2 or less climax and waiting room early play. On play heal, already pretty good. When you use an act, 500 times your board.
What?
Yeah, so this card is super defensive. It's healing you, and walling up under backup. So even with a 2K backup, this can get pretty massive and beat out other early plays, or even beat out early play killers that get power. It's a really, really defensive card. I wish there was space in the list to run 4. You could probably cut the event. The event is just too memey to me to not run in this like porn deck. But this card is super good. This is one of the reasons to like play the set. I think this card is super nasty.
Yeah.
I'm a
Like
big fan.
it really depends on your meta, you know.
Yeah, it's either super good or super bad.
This is the same card that I think Kontai has the same card. I think this is their yellow early play.
Yeah, I believe it's a healer.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Lots of synergy. We're like holding backups all game anyway because they're live level 1. So we're gonna have backups to support this card. So we don't have to worry about that. It's like sculpting to have multiple backups in this deck isn't bad in the early game. So it's not a bad thing to hold on to some extra ones.
The card's so big.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining he's sitting across from like Logan's rope.
Yeah, you get like the 2K from the backup and then 2,500 more or 2,000 more. That's crazy.
You get a lot. This is the card where I was saying with the back row Yuuna, you really have to know when to send it and when to not, because that 500 power can lose you a lane. So just being aware of that, whether you need the on attack power or the on defense power, you need to be very cognizant of that playing this card. But yeah, very fun card. Moving on, this is our off finisher. So yet another Nonko. She has a similar effect. On play, you top check up to 3. Add one of those cards to your hand. The rest go under this card face up as markers. And as long as you have 2 or more cards in your memory, this card gets 1,500 per character. This card can get plus 3k, sit at 11/5 cross turn with 2 markers. It has on reverse, pitch 2 cards, clock kick. Any cards. So it can help filter out your hand if you're flooded with
climaxes. It helps draw you into your climax you need at the end too.
Yeah, this is a big reason I like splashing green in this deck. I think this card is an off finisher for consistency because we don't have another way. We have one other way to grab the gate. But this card is also it's a very offensive and holds, gets markers. Big fan of markers. But maybe I'm biased. We play against a lot of Gurren Lagann here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So. Big ups to Zach. But yeah, it's a way to utilize all that hand you're building up too with the discard effect.
Mm-hmm.
And nice too that you can kind of like cap out kind of for your finishers and then swing with this first to generate the stock and then use the stock for the pay effect for your the Ghost Girl.
Yeah, you can throw your whole hand away pretty easily at endgame and like get pretty destructive finishing lines. Where you can go like burn 2, you can like burn 3, attack for 3, burn 3, attack for 3, attack for 3, clock kick. Like pretty disgusting finishing boards.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say I agree with you on this one, Carmen.
Yeah, this is a big payoff for green in the deck. Alright, last card. This one's hella boring. It's a 4 or more early play. This is the Lolly.
Mako never stops running.
4 or more early play, look at X. This helps us get into our gate for finisher. It's like, it's a can tripping 3rd lane at level 2 if we like sack additional turns at level 2. Decent one of. If you don't like it, you can run an additional Nonko. You're usually compressed enough to get into your gate within 3 cards if you didn't get into it with clock drawing. Because you can freely clock draw as long as you're not, if you're going to play 2 Yuunas, heal down to 3-0 because they're heal finishers. You can clock that extra card if you're like a 3-1 or less to get into your gate extra draw. So you don't really need more than 1, and if you don't like it, you can run an additional Nonko. But yeah, pretty simple card. All right.
I like this card. I think I'd rather run the other one before this first.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Getting into
I feel like with this though,
part.
you kind of split this with the early play, the yellow one.
Yeah, the yellow one, yeah.
This is kind of like a mix between that yellow early play and the green one that clock kicks and draws you a card.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like a functional extra copy of each.
a little bit. It's just
So
an
I
early
can
play.
dig the one of.
All right, the funniest part of the deck. Here's the climaxes.
Oh,
It's like the
you
lewdest
know what I
card
mean?
ever. Yeah, we definitely don't monetize our videos, so you guys get to enjoy this climax card called One and Only. It's a wind. And then we have the door, the gate, or whatever you want to call it. That's the finisher. That's the only card in it with
Comeback trigger.
yeah, that's the only card in it with the main character. So
That's what they're
enjoy his back. But yeah, here's the whole list laid out. Like I said, the list is pretty tight. Your only flex card is the event in which you cut it for an additional copy of something else.
Oh,
Other
that's
than
nice.
that, I don't really know what you do besides cutting green. I think if you cut green, you can probably get a little bit more space in the list. But yeah, it's pretty tight, but it runs well. It's not a great deck. It definitely has problems. It has like a power threshold problem at level 1. The Nonko level 1 is like either the best card or the worst card. And sometimes the burns get you there, and sometimes they don't. But yeah, it's a really fun deck. It's really lewd. I've at one shop that I frequent, I have gotten many dirty looks for playing this deck, which just makes me want to play it more.
Which shop are you
Very
gonna
funny.
say which shop it is?
No, I don't want to dox a shop. But I've gotten I've gotten many dirty looks at that shop for playing this deck, which just makes me want to continue playing it. Very powerful ghost titties.
Is
Yeah,
this the one
but-
I have not been to, Carmen?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, very funny list. Very fun to play. I think this is like my most fun deck to like play at locals. It's a lot of fun. And you get to distract your opponent while playing.
Yeah, as a pastel palettes fanboy, I really like the decks that utilize multiple colors as a theme, as a synergy.
This one's like really easy to fulfill for the most part, which I think makes it more fun. If it were more of a pain than this, because it already can be a pain sometimes. You're like playing a drop searcher. This Yaya costs 1 to go to memory. You have to tap this card that may or may not put your cards below power threshold. So like, there's definitely a cost for putting those cards in memory, but it is manageable over the course of a game. But yeah, a lot of fun. Very funny
Very cool
deck. Main strategy, sort of went over it. Level 0, you're going to play your Saigiri Clean Cut because it's a broken card. Like Andy noted, very good synergy with Yaya, which you're not probably going to pop during that turn to get your Yuuna, unless you need the plus, in which it's not really a plus. However, it is a stock out, but it is a plus if you use the Saigiri to cut it to the back row. You're probably going to search out your level 1 using the Obro, which is that blue drop searcher, and you're going to send it to memory, fulfilling your blue memory requirement. Note that if you send multiple Obros before you hit 2 or more, the Yaya does not have a condition for going to memory, so you can sort of charge your memory by throwing additional Obros in there if that's the first card you throw. So something to keep in mind. Maybe we can sack stock by filtering our hand with the Chisaki promo, but otherwise we're going to get into our level 1. We're going to play the Chisaki level 1. We're going to get as many reverses as we can to fill our hand massively. We run 3 backups, so we'll probably get some backups off that. We're going to protect our Chisakis if we can, just to help us double plus on board. So maybe she can plus 3 times, which would be pretty damn cool, leading into our level 2, where we're going to early play both of our early plays. We're going to prioritize the Chisaki. We're going to protect it with our extra backups from level 1. We're going to play our Nonko to get through our deck if we're out of climaxes. Otherwise, we're going to be very cautious of playing it, and we'll use our anti-change counter to threaten screwing over our opponent and getting additional turns at level 2. Very important to remember in this deck that a well-timed anti-change counter is also money counter, and sometimes that's worth paying 3. So just keep that in mind. Going into our level 3, we have our Yuuna finisher and we have our Nonko. That's pretty much it. So we're a burnout deck. We're either going to get there or we won't. We don't have any ways to like confirm our burns or anything. We just choose which number, 2 or 3, or even 1, depending on our opponent's deck state. But only having 1 in memory is pretty meme for the deck. You're usually going to have 2 or 3. But yeah,
Nice
that's basically
mid-rangey
it.
strategy. I can dig it.
Yeah, any questions about the deck list, guys?
I say if it were me, maybe I'd run more of that cute event.
Yeah, the event is very funny.
If I'm gonna run a deck that's like not a very high end deck, then you have to embrace its weird parts and just go for the event.
Go for the event, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's not high end. I think there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of unique
High
stuff
end.
here, and the finisher's pretty good.
I mean, I don't know. Again, when I say not, I mean I don't.
Not top
bad.
tier.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
know what you mean.
Yeah, I want to do something really extra cute, and that seems extra cute to me.
One seems like a really safe number for me if you're going into like an unknown meta.
I'd probably do at least 2, but that's just me. 2 or 3.
Make sure you see it.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see it. I want to play that card at least once during the game.
They'll never see the second one coming.
They'll never see it a second as you shuffle everything back to the way it was originally.
That's what you gotta do, Carmen. Run 4 copies, and starting at level 2, you just organize their field every turn.
That'd be funny. All right, well, wrapping it up, I throw this slide on all of our content. People find Weiss content on YouTube, don't know where to go elsewhere, so I like to throw this on there. We got both the Discords, the card game Discord and the competitive Weiss Schwartz Discord. We do not own or operate these, Pittsburgh Weiss Schwartz. The card games Discord is run by a bunch of people that are well known in the Weiss community, and then the competitive Weiss Schwartz Discord is run by the Burn One guys. Both these are great places to find games on webcam or tabletop simulator, as well as just talk about the meta. There's buy-sell trade stuff on the Discords, but more often than not, if you want to do buying and trading of cards, you're going to do that on the Facebook communities, Global and NA. There's also Card of the Day translated stuff on the global community, as well as discussion about new reveals. So if you're interested in that stuff for both English and Japanese, definitely check out Global. And then I have all of our Twitters for our recurring cast. Brandon, you don't have a Twitter on here that you want me to throw, do you? Okay. But Andy and I are on here. I tweet about Weiss a good bit. I don't know about Andy, but, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
But yeah, I think that's it. Other upcoming content. I think Slime is probably our next one. I do want to get a guest on for that. If we can't get them, we might do Memory Snow first. Depends on how our scheduling goes and how coming out of lockdown, which is the current rumor in our area, might be happening soon. So if that happens, things might change, but we will definitely keep up content for you guys at our current rate. So yeah, I think that's it. Pittsburgh Weiss Schwartz signing off. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, guys.